Today's conversation is going to be a little different. And honestly, I think it's one many people need because sometimes the thing that's keeping us stuck is not another lab, not another supplement, not another strategy, not another plan. Sometimes it's the unresolved emotion that we're actually carrying. The grief, the resentment, the fear, the old story, the heartbreak from divorce, the conflict, the words we keep repeating to ourselves over and over and over without realizing that our body is listening.
Welcome to the True Wellness Podcast with Dr. Z, where we explore what it takes to live with vitality, balance, and purpose. I am Dr. Z, and each week I will bring you powerful tools, inspiring stories, and expert insights to help you thrive in every area of your life. From health and wellness to mindset and navigating life's challenges, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of true well-being. Be sure to check the show notes and grab your copy of the True Wellness Checklist so you can get started on your journey right away. Now, let's get started.
My guest today is Stu Weintraub, founder of Waves of Love Wellness. He is the creator of the Center for Child Safe Divorce and the Waves of Love Foundation. He is a shamanic and Reiki energy healer, a TEDx speaker, a certified high conflict divorce coach, a social impact entrepreneur, and the author of The Heart of Divorce. In fact, his TEDx talk, The True Cost of Divorce, has helped bring awareness to the emotional, the physiological, and the spiritual impact of divorce and what it can have on children who are sort of caught in the crossfire. So Stu's work, it blends that spiritual healing, emotional relief, and heart-centered leadership and what he calls the Waves of Love healing method. So a process that's designed to help people clear those emotional blockages and actually reconnect to love and clarity and purpose. And what I love about the conversation is that it meets at the intersection of so much about what we talk about here on True Wellness, the body, the nervous system, the emotional patterns, relationships, healing, and the deeper question of what it really means to truly live from the heart. So Stu, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on.
Yeah. So I want to start with the big picture. You use the phrase live, love, and lead from the heart. And that sounds really beautiful. But for someone who is exhausted, they're hurt, they're divorced, they're blocked, or they're just trying to, survive the day, what does that actually mean?
First of all, thank you so much for the work that you do. And I'm really impressed, and I honor the importance of functional medicine and how you approach wellness. And it frustrates me. I have a client that comes to mind. She was so committed to her healing and had sought out really like the therapy, the functional medicine, had gone on retreats, and she came to me and just surrendered with, I just don't know what I'm missing. And I
Yeah.
said, it's not your fault. Everything's okay. You're
Yes.
exactly where you're supposed to be. You're just blocked. And I as a visionary and as a shamanic practitioner, I have the gift of seeing where those emotional blocks lie.
Yes.
And the healing takes place between the client and her higher self. And transformational experience doesn't happen because we make it happen. It's literally an unblocking that happens from the divine, from the source, from the creator. So I work with the energy of nature, and I work with thousands and thousands of year old teachings
Yes.
where everything is energy, the vibration. When we tap into Wi-Fi or plug in an appliance to a socket, there's power. And we are electrical beings.
Yeah.
Everything about us is a frequency of energy and literally electricity. And so all I
Yes.
do is I help remove those blockages that are getting in the way of that connection, that circuitry. And then all of that other healing, it's complementary, can take place.
Yeah.
So the heart,
Yeah.
and people, I teach about love. What really is love? We are culturalized to learn that love is a Hallmark card, or in the five love languages. I love that book. That should be required reading. But
Yes.
self love, self love comes first.
Mm.
In my work, self love comes after the primary initial love, which is connection to the universal force of love, which
I
is
love
our innate birthright. And
that.
that is whatever someone's belief is or isn't, there is a source power, whether whether it's the sun or the moon or God, or how anybody can interpret their own reference for that source. And that source is embedded in our hearts.
Mm.
Each one of us, every sentient being has an inner spark of this light and this love. So all we have to do, we don't have to fix anything. We just have to unblock what's covering it, and that's
Yeah.
where the emotions get trapped. And it's the human experience. Everyone has this. It's
Yes.
throughout our lives, the traumas, the wounds, the pain. I see them as little splinters, literally, that are in that are just embedded. And all we do is connect to that source power and have those splinters removed.
Yes.
It's really fun. I see miracles every day.
I love that. You know what you say, I think is spot on. So you might not know, Stu, but a big foundation of the work I do is bioenergetic
Hmm.
and kinesiologic testing. And so
Hmm.
I know for a fact, right, that your body is one big electrical being,
Yeah.
and we get these blockages from emotions, from physical traumas, from all of these different things. And it's funny because in our practice, we start, we work through that nervous system work,
Hmm.
we work with the foundation of like, hey, we've got to start to break through some of those patterns and beliefs because people can come in having tried everything under the sun, like you were explaining with your client, and they're not getting results. And you have to take a step back and say, okay, well, where is that? Where is
Hmm.
that block? Where is that thing that's holding you back from connecting really truly with yourself, right? Because we know
Right.
that when things are at that vibration, we heal, right? We
Hmm.
heal, we feel good, we manifest, we do all of these different things. So I really respect that that is the work that you're doing. So tell me a little bit. I mean, how did you even come down this path? Like so many of us in this space, we all have a story. Describe, for me, what your story is. How did you come to realize, like, oh, this is the way things are?
My my clients like to refer to me as Shaman Stew, and and I don't claim that title per se. My work demands humility, and I was taught by a very respected Lakota elder. The term shaman just means bridge.
Mm,
And then another client who said, how did you study? How did you get certified to do this? And I said, I've lived it.
yeah.
So my life has been a series of countless initiations. I died when I was a child. I experienced abuse and complete business, financial failure,
Mm,
divorce, extremely painful custody, being marginalized from my son at the time. And so I have lived through these initiations and I've healed.
yes.
I was diagnosed with narcolepsy and all kinds of other neurological, cognitive, psychological, psychiatric, and all of it was my path
Mm.
to heal. And now I get to share that with others.
Yes. Yeah, I have a mentor who has since passed, who I have so much love and respect for, and his mantra was always, "Hey, no matter what gets thrown at you, you just say thank you because there's
Mm,
something that's going to come out of whatever that is, no
yeah.
matter where you're at or what the experience, the negative experience of it might be, you just say thank you. And when you do that, like things begin to shift and that transformation begins to happen. So,
Easier said than done, but
oh
what
yeah,
that
it
and
was.
that's why and that's why seeking the facilitators, the
Yes,
practitioners, and like the work that you do is so powerful, to connect with someone who really deeply understands this, that there are no mistakes or coincidences, and things are happening not to you, not just to you, but for you, and
yes,
I also say through you.
yes.
Things are happening through you, and as a result of the things that happened to me,
Mm,
I now am a channel through which I can share and help and facilitate healing for others.
yeah. Tell me, so what does waves of love mean to you? Why love?
The Waves of Love image, the brand was born on Father's Day. My son is a photographer, and when he was little, we used to take train rides to nowhere on the weekends.
I love it.
I was an every other weekend parent, and he was about 5, 6 years old, and I had no idea what I was going to do with him on the weekends. And I got this intuition, and I went to the store and I got two disposable cameras. We made some PB&J sandwiches and juice boxes, and we jumped on the train for $10, and he would take pictures. Years later, he it sparked his passion for photography as a true gift. He captured a picture of a wave in Newport Beach, which was just, he called it half heart. And he started his fine art photography business, put it up, but he mirrored it and gifted it to me. Rode his bike to the store, gifted me a little 4x6 print of a perfect heart shape
Mm,
image, which was two waves coming together. No other Photoshop on this. During COVID, we're sitting there watching the world meltdown on TV, and I look at him. He's on his Instagram, and I look at him and I say, "You know what the world needs now, more than anything, is love." I
yeah.
said, can I use that? You want to do a project with me? You want to start?" He goes, "Dad, I don't want anything to do with your business, but you can use it." And I said, "No, you gave me a print. You didn't give me. I want the rights to use this." So I licensed it from him, and he gets a
Yes,
royalty. He
yes,
refused to sell it. So the Waves of Love image is, it's not just fine art. It is energetic. It's transformational, and
yeah.
it's so powerful. So I I claimed it as the brand for Waves of Love Wellness, but it's also a movement. I have a community on Facebook that's growing. We're just right at about 520, just started it, 528 souls sharing their hearts to experience and express more love in their lives.
Mm, love it.
It's what we all deeply desire. And it's the innate universal life force, which is the agape love, the energetic love, the spiritual love. And when we start with that, when we send love out, we get love back. So we
Mm,
have a movement forming. And my next TEDx talk is in process, and I have a children's book, which is, let's start with the children, right? Because
yes.
the children go home from school, and then
Hmm.
they tell their parents, and we have the ability right here, right now. Take a deep breath in, close your eyes, focus on your heart, focus on whatever that universal source is, whether it's the sun or the moon, image of God, creator, and breathe in all the love in the world coming in, and see it going to every particle within you and encircling you. And then exhale it out and send it intentionally, energetically, prayerfully to whomever might benefit from receiving love. It might be your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your pet. It might be someone you never met but learned about on the other side of the world, and they're suffering right now. Let's send those politicians that we don't whose message we don't align with. You know why they're doing what they're doing? Because they're suffering with greed, right? They're
Yes.
suffering with whatever ego or power, their own wounds are acting out on a stage with immediate lights and cameras. Let's send them love because it has the ability to transform them.
Yes.
And so Waves of Love is not just a piece of fine art or a nice photo on the wall. It really is it starts with ripples, and
Mm,
ripples become waves. And just the the heart chakra vibrates at a frequency of 528 hertz. Waves in the ocean have a frequency, but
yes.
collectively, we have the ability to literally transform and shift not just ourselves, but others. And
Yeah.
so, what the world needs now is love.
Yeah. The entire planet could shift if we all engaged in that space and sent that love. It is using politicians is a great example because everyone's
Yeah.
got a charge somewhere with what's going on in the
Everyone
world. Good.
cringes.
Yep. Good, bad,
Everyone
ugly.
cringes. Mm-hmm.
Nobody's happy, no matter where you
Mm-hmm.
stand, right? And so that love is important. And I so agree with you that if we step into that space, everything is frequency. If we can just create that frequency on the planet, things would really shift and change.
Right. And it's a
So,
balance. It's a balance
mhm,
between how much we're focused on ourselves. I have to have more love.
right,
I'm really working on self-love
right.
versus, and some of your patients, some of your clients are people pleasers and givers, and they've spent so much of their energy giving to others and being
Yes,
loving to others
yes,
without nurturing and caring for themselves first.
yes.
And so it's a balance.
Yeah. I think there's 2 things. So I think it's not just nurturing and caring for themselves, but also receiving love. I know I went
Hmm.
through this period in my life after, I had my own tumultuous childhood and, as a young adult, I walked around always saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Hmm.
I'm sorry." And I really had to break out of like, why do I keep doing that? And it's time to stop that. Let's start to get
Hmm.
present for no, I am not responsible for everything that's happening in the
That's
world,
right.
right? It is
That's right.
not my space to have to be responsible and to be sorry for everybody and everything, right? We can empathize, right? But we don't have
Hmm.
to take on all of that responsibility or even the different emotions. We can recognize that each person has their own pathway, you know. But you said something earlier that I'd like to touch on, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit. You had said we can't even start with self-love. And I know, 'cause, I mean, I work with a lot of women, a lot of, powerful executive women, and they're like doing their thing and pushing, pushing, pushing. Heaven forbid they allow any of that vulnerability in. And, like attracts like. So I get it. And that self-love piece is a really big piece that they have a hard time getting to at all
Yeah.
because they're
Hmm.
they're they're fighting something, they're proving something, they're pushing something. But
Right.
you said something before. You said it before self-love just comes love and connection. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate on that? Because I think that's a huge piece.
I love we have similar audiences we serve, our client base.
Yes.
I love my high net worth power executive female clients, and high achievers and accomplishing, and they have somewhere along the lines lost touch with their divine feminine
Mm,
to just receive and relax
yes.
and be taken care of. And a lot of this is family of origin or conditioning that they took on, or societal, cultural, sometimes past life,
Yes.
some might say karmic. And it's all reversible. It's all
Mm,
healable. And not everybody needs this. If things are going okay, great. Keep
right.
conquering in the boardroom and, power brokering. But if things aren't going the way that you want, and you're really not experiencing the life you want to live,
Yes.
well, there's a solution. And it starts with just that. What is so scary about coming in to surrender and
Mm,
trusting and
right.
receiving and dropping the mask of
Mhm.
whatever it is, the title, right? The role. We all have a title in this society, and uh, CEO or board chair or whatever it is, but it's all superficial. Who we are is not what we do.
Right.
And this is the message to the men out there. Of course, that's the masculine,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We have these roles,
Yes.
um, these titles, but who we are is in our essence is a soul housed in a physical form of a body,
Mhm.
which has a gender identity of some sort. And then we have our assigned roles: mother, father, husband, wife, partner, CEO, but that's all superficial. So let's get down to who we really are, which is, and the essence of our soul is love. It's God in my
Right.
awareness. And I don't just know this, I didn't read this, I experienced this, and I received these teachings through deep, profound metaphysical
Mm.
experiences and ceremonies, through Native American sweat lodge ceremony. And um, it's once I realized that, there's a quote: when I lost the fear of dying, I lost the fear of living.
Mm.
And fear is the number one block. We have this
Yes.
core wound, or wounds that drive us to a state of fear. So we have to project something to feel safe. We have to we have to create these identities, or these masks, these titles, these roles, in order for us to feel safe. But when somebody can realize that those are all superficial and external, and clients come to me in one of two junctures: either they're suffering it while they're in those roles and titles, or more frequently, something has cracked in those areas of their lives. They're no longer a wife or husband. They're going through a crushingly painful divorce. They just got laid off, or the company
Mhm.
just got bought out, hostile takeover, and they all of a sudden they don't have those things to prop them up anymore, to feel okay about themselves. And
Right.
so I said, "You're okay. You're perfect. Everything about you is perfect and intact inside. Let's get
Right.
down to the core essence,
Mm.
which is love."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I think what you're alluding to is there is a point at which those identities that we've taken on in the world, they become bankrupt. And when they're
Mm-hmm.
bankrupt and we have nothing else to hold on to, like, everything starts to shift and change. And I think we all at some point get to that point in our lives. Maybe, I don't know, I've been at that point in my life more than more than once, where you have to, like, you really have to let go of the identity and take a look. So let me
Or
ask.
or it'll be or the universe forces you to
Yes.
let go, because it rips
Uh-huh.
it right out.
Yep.
And I was really sad yesterday. I learned of somebody I knew from the community in San Diego. Known him for 20 years, professional guy about my age, very accomplished in real estate, and his relationship fell apart. His girlfriend or partner left him.
Mm.
His real estate dealings went south, and he didn't have excuse me, he didn't have the resources. And his best idea was to, through drugs and alcohol, to step in front of a train.
Mm.
And he left planet Earth, one of those souls that suffered so much.
Yeah.
And so I think of him as an example. Not all are meant to heal, but you mentioned bankrupt. Oh my gosh, the greatest catalyst for change is that all of a sudden that deal doesn't come in, and all of a sudden I don't know what to, I can't pay the bills. What do I
Right.
do? Financial failure is like, wow, we don't know how to deal with that in this culture, because
Mm.
we're so trained and culturalized that money is happiness, money is stability, money is success, money
Mhm.
is, I'm okay. I can love myself and be loving if I have that financial stability. And
Right.
we're learning societally things are different, with gas at $7 a gallon,
Sure.
and all, it's not the same it used to be in this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it can be, everyone can be okay it's just it's I call it the indoctrination. It's a
Sure.
lesson. It's an opportunity for growth that
Yes.
you are not the title on your card. You are not how much is in your bank account. And so it's the catalyst when people come, they finally wave the flag and they say, I need help. The most important words
Mm,
is, seeking help is not failure. So I love people and I teach it proactively. Everything that I do, especially with in my work with Love Before Law and the nonprofit with divorce, it's proactive. Get that therapist engaged before you even have conflict.
yes.
Get that neutral third party. Have learn to have these conversations with your kids and your business and your team and your business colleagues. Learn that healthy communication to resolve conflict.
Hmm.
Learn these coping skills before you actually need them.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
we've lost that. We've lost that sense of, elders. Disconnection is the root of suffering. Disconnection from the earth, disconnection from that source power, disconnection from one another with technology and AI, and
Mhm.
everything is self-help. The self-help movement. Oh my gosh, who invented that?
Right. We need each
We
other.
need we need
We,
each other. That's right.
yes.
But
We need that.
we need qualified people. I cannot get better playing tennis if I'm playing with someone who's at my level or beneath. I
Yeah.
have to get on that court with someone better who challenges me to level up. And so that's where the work you're doing, it's so crucial to seek out the support and to be humble enough to say, I need help. And we're
Yeah.
taught not to ask for that, especially men and high achieving, accomplished women.
Absolutely, absolutely. And social media and the internet,
Yeah,
it all makes it so much easier these
yeah,
days to stay locked in that bubble. It's no wonder why,
yeah.
like, that scroll is so addictive. Let me just go find the answer. Let me chat GPT that answer,
Yeah.
and yet all we're doing is disconnecting more and more and more and more and more. And so,
Oh my gosh, so many people are using AI for therapy now. And
yeah. Oh,
I always ask my new clients, are you engaged in any, do you have any support systems in your life? And are you currently in therapy or have you been? And a recent client said, yes, my therapist is ChatGPT. And I was like, how fabulous.
yep, it's happening.
But are you fact checking that with a human who's reading
Right,
your body language and
right.
who's asked, ChatGPT might ask you questions to answer, but if you're not answering them, a good therapist or a coach or a healer is going to ask the questions and watch how you respond.
Yeah, and chat, AI is very there. It's I don't know what the proper IT language is, but it is designed to like have the agreement with you, not
Yeah.
to kind of challenge you in certain ways. It's an
Unless we
interesting.
teach it, unless we ask it to,
Yes, that's right.
which most people don't want to know the answers.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Stu, I do think that we are in a day and
Mhm.
age where there's complete information overload. So
Mhm.
what are some signs that someone might not need more information, but they may need that release, right? They may need that block to get released so that they can actually move forward.
It's a great question. Silence, presence is my number one virtue.
Mm.
So I have a retreat coming up, digital detox.
Oh, good
Let's
one.
disconnect, and it's multi-purpose. Number one, it's not just the literal interaction, but it's detoxing from the energies of so much Wi-Fi and microwave and all these invisible electronic particles are passing through us more than ever. We're bombarded with it, let alone satellite. Um, and so detaching to be silent. It's very
Mm.
uncomfortable. We live in a culture where we are conditioned to do stuff and stay busy, and
Yes.
that keeps us numb or comfortable. But at a certain point, if things aren't going your way, we need to withdraw from these pacifiers, these things that are keeping us somewhat soothing. Social
Hmm.
media, and I love social media, and I love AI, and everything has dark and light, positive and negative.
Sure.
Everything has a purpose. But when we are distracted, I starting when my son was 4 or 5 years old, every Father's Day, I'd sit down and I'd ask, I still do it. He rolls his eyes. He's 24 now. And I said, I take an inventory and I said, how am I doing as your dad?
Mm,
He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, tell me one thing that you really appreciate that I'm doing well. And I said, there's no script. If you become a dad one day, you'll remember this.
sure.
Tell me one thing that you really like, and tell me one thing that I can do better. And oh my
Mm,
gosh, he was probably 7 or 8 years old, and he said to me, Dad, you're always on the phone when we go, like when we do things, you're always checking your phone. And I was like, boom. I
yeah.
said, you're right. And I said,
Yeah.
how did that make you feel? He said, Dad, I just don't like it. I said, but how did it make you feel? Well, it makes me feel angry. It makes me feel sad. I said, well, how can I change that? If I and will you be patient with me, and will you remind me if I fall off the mark? Would you let me know, because I want to do better? And it was
Yeah.
distracted. Presence, number one thing.
Yes.
So, and it's up to everyone else how, if it's not a problem, but everyone, you go to dinner, you go to a restaurant, you see the whole family's on their devices.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. My favorite words are put the phones down, guys. Put the phones down.
right.
Turn it off. Turn it off. And listen, I am no perfect angel. I will never
No,
ever say that. And I have to reel myself in when I'm like, "Oh, look at that. You're like just being distracted. You didn't want to like do finish up that project you have to do. So instead you picked up your phone. Isn't that interesting?" Right? So
right.
we've got to keep an eye on it.
And
So,
yet they have their place, and you and I wouldn't have been connected without social media and
right.
without all these beautiful platforms that can connect us. But
Yeah.
once we're connected, then, and that's the work I do, transformational retreats in various destinations. We sit around a fire and in small circles, and we interact as humans
Yes.
in a container. And I do
Yeah.
this on Zoom as well. I create a safe container the way the indigenous elders have modeled for me, and we interact and we're present, and this is the small village, and that's where we are all returning to it, that we're being
Mm,
forced as a culture. The real
yeah.
estate is unsustainable for the next generation. The American dream is not going to be attainable for them, and it's
Yes.
not supposed to be. We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna start we're gonna start to gather in small groups again, and sit around the fire and relate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't that beautiful? I
yeah.
want to speak to you about another thing that I know is important to the work that you do, and
Mhm.
I think it's something that I needs to be pointed out. I know you speak about the words that we speak, so how the
Mhm.
words that we speak and the thoughts that we think can keep us blocked.
Mhm.
Can you just kind of expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely. Subconscious and also conscious. If I'm thinking or speaking words that are negative, the
Mhm.
uni- this the whole universe is a vibratory mirror and a magnet. And so if I am saying, oh, I can't stand this, that they're so crazy, this is so crazy, well, I'm vibrating out crazy. This is the law of attraction. This is
Right.
not
Yes.
this is not my discovery. This is thousands of year old. It's in every spiritual scripture,
Yeah.
and the masters spoke about this, and the law of manifestation. So there's a way to reframe it, and it's not perfect, but we speak out, cancel, delete.
Yes.
I
I use
I am
that.
I'm filled with abundance, love, prosperity, and I send it out to them as well. Oh my gosh, customer service people, they drive me nuts sometimes.
They drive
But
all of
I
us.
send but I send the customer service people at these big, at the insurance company that I have to deal with, and press 1, press 3, tell me your birth date, let's verify your identity. I just send them out all beautiful waves of love. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I receive it back. When we send it out, we receive it back.
Yeah,
I am
that's a
whole. I am
yeah,
healed. I am everything that we are lacking. All of your patients that come to you, they are replaying. I feel, how are you today? When people
yes,
ask me that question, I said, I'm happy. How are you?
yes,
I'm filled with amazing and abundance, energy of love. And it's true. But
yes,
when I speak that, I become that.
yes, yes. Yeah, that's great. I open all my client sessions. My clients know my first statement is, okay, what are you grateful for today? Before we dive
Nice.
into anything, I want to know
Right.
what you're grateful for.
And we
So,
have to tell the truth. Yes, we have to
yes,
tell the truth of, oh, I feel so depressed. Well,
yeah,
okay, now that you've identified that, thank you, acknowledged.
yes,
What are you grateful for? It's beautiful. What are you not feeling depressed about? Depressed is a symptom,
right.
uh, just a
Yeah,
blockage, just a
yeah, I love
blockage.
that. Tell me before we begin to wrap up here, Stu, let me ask you it this way. What is the message you feel most called to share with our audience right now?
Hmm, that's a great question. You're good at this.
I try. Thanks.
Everything's exactly the way it's supposed to be. And if your life isn't going the way you want it, if your relationships, finances, and if you're not feeling useful and vital in your life, and if you're not living the life that you know you're supposed to be living, that you want to live,
Mm,
it's okay, and there's a solution. And keep seeking. And so, if you haven't explored and experienced this type of work, there are a lot of providers out there. But I love it when people say, I don't know. I'm still, this isn't working. I've been in therapy. I've done all this healing work. I've seen all these amazing doctors, um, and so it's okay. You're exactly where you're supposed to be,
mm.
but let's just get you unblocked. You're not stuck. You're not broken. You're just blocked.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Stu, thank you so much. Tell us a little bit or tell our audience how they can find out more about you, how they connect with you. I know I will have lots in the show notes, but for those who are listening and don't have
Thank
access,
you.
please share that.
This is wonderful. Thank you for your service to humanity and everything that you do. And I'm sure your clients are really, really fortunate to work with you. I help people live, love, and lead from their hearts. I help you get unblocked. You can find me at wavesoflove.com. And if you're experiencing divorce or during or after divorce and conflict with your co-parent, there's a solution for that. My passion is helping people place love before law to keep their kids out of the crossfire.
Mm,
You can restore, even if you have conflict or no contact with a former spouse. Um, get my book, The Heart of Divorce. It's available on Amazon. Watch my TEDx talk on YouTube. It's called The True Costs of Divorce. I'm just the messenger, and I love seeing miracles and transformation. Everything can be healed. All relationships can be restored. If you're stuck and you're on online dating and you're just so frustrated with it, there's a strategy and a solution. Cord cutting is an essential part.
mm,
People are getting the same person sent to them over and over again in the dating world, and they've just given up. That's because they're carrying these energies from previous attachments and partners. And there's a way to clear it.
love that. Thank you so much for being with us, Stu. And the website where they can find you one more time?
Wavesoflove.com, and my social impact work is at lovebeforelaw.org. We are commissioning the first ever study of the true costs of divorce on children,
Oh,
the emotional, social emotional impact, not the financial, not how much people spend on divorce lawyers, but how many wounded hearts and the consequences of that. So wavesoflove.com is where people can find me, and it's an honor to be of service.
yeah, thank you so much for the important work that you're doing in this world, and thank you for this conversation. I think the reminder here is powerful, right?
Mm,
Sometimes healing isn't about doing more. Sometimes it's about clearing what's been quietly blocking us from
that's right.
receiving love, from
That's
expressing
right.
truth, from reconnecting to the power that was there, all along. So thank you everyone for being here with us today, and we'll see you for the next episode.
Thank you so much, Dr. Z.
This is Dr. Z reminding you to tune into your body, connect with what matters, and embrace your journey to true wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who's ready to redefine their health. Be sure to grab a copy of the True Wellness Checklist right in the show notes. Let's keep redefining wellness and empowering change together. See you for the next episode.